Today, we're taking a look at the tactic of Abanico, or in some other styles, they'll call this the Watique. The Abanicos and the Watiques are the fanning and the flicking strikes with the weapon. So I would consider the Abanico being kind of a little bit more of an advanced manipulation, an advanced tactic. Not that you have to wait until you are like at a super high level in your Kali training, just advanced meaning that it takes a little bit more awareness of timing and where you are in the fight, in the sparring. And advanced manipulations are sometimes what I like to refer to them is you're just at a moment where you might have to do something a little bit strange, a little weird. The Abanico strikes are so underrated. A lot of people don't really know what is going on when you're working with these strikes and you're hitting somebody or hitting something with these strikes. So let's do a little breakdown so we can understand what is this tactic, what are these techniques actually doing. If you are new to Kali, then it's pretty common mistake that people think that Kali is just a stick fighting art, where Kali is actually a blade fighting art, and the stick is the training tool to teach how to handle a blade, a bolo, or a sword of some sort. So to understand, well, what are we actually doing with the Abanico, we need to look at the blade so we can see the position of what is actually making contact. When you look at a lot of Filipino bolos, you're gonna see how obviously we have the main edge right here. And then on the back, this is a training blade, but on the back we have what's called the top edge right here. When you have the main edge and the top edge that meet all the way to the point. So this is all sharp and this is also sharp. This lasts 3 to 4 inches or so. This allows us to work with full chamber positions, be able to use full different types of manipulations, and use every aspect of the weapon as a deadly instrument. Now, even if your bolo does not have a back edge, it's still going to taper out because that main edge, it's still going to taper out to that point. So before we get to the contact part of the Abanicos, let's take a look at the mechanics. What are we doing with our body? So we're getting this full hip and shoulder rotation, and we're also getting rotation in the forearm and in the wrist. So as we are rotating, we call this a number 1 Abanico, and we call this one a number 2 Abanico. And these are our 2 basics right here. And you can do these on the high line, which is going to look like this, over the head. And on the low line, it's going to look like this. Okay, almost like it's on a vertical. We call these the horizontal Abanicos, 1 and 2. 1 and 2 high, 1 and 2 low. Okay, you can practice these just like that. But you really want to make sure you are getting this full hip and shoulder rotation. And see how the shoulder is going to open here? And then you see how that forearm rotates, the elbows swaying outside, inside. And then there's a little bit of a snap on the wrist. Then we also have our 3 and 4 Abanicos. Our number 3 is that vertical. You can see how we're rotating it. I'm going to drop the elbow. Drop my weight. So the torso moves with the actual strike. Let me show you this from the side. Boom. Bam. Boom. Pop. Right there. Wham. Right there. So you can generate a lot of torque with this. And then number 4 is kind of more of this flicking motion, just like this. Again, everything's going to rotate out and then snap back. You can hit this up high towards the head. You can hit it low, midline, maybe towards the hand. Hit it real low towards the knee. You can flick them towards the groin. So we have our fanning motions and then more of our flicking motions. So let's take a look at what is happening when we make contact with the Abanico. As I rotate this, you're going to see how the tip and the top edge are making contact to the target. In this case, right to Bob's eyes, or maybe the temple, bridge of the nose, somewhere around there. And then as I rotate to number 2 with that full rotation, same exact thing. So we're hitting with this last inch or 2 of the weapon. Boom, boom. So when you're striking up like this is a quarto tactic because we're hitting the head. So head is quarto target. And it doesn't need to be absolutely perfect because even when you hit with the flat here where the 2 edges meet, it creates a split. The skin is very elastic. And when you have these 2 sharp things that are meeting at a point, hit at a high velocity with a high snap, you know, the skin just tends to split wide open. It's really, really a nasty, nasty shot. Very, very effective. So, and that's what's going on right here. We're getting this rotation and we're looking to hit with that top edge or where the edges meet right into the point. Same thing if I come down on the vertical. You're gonna see, bam, right there where we're hitting with that top edge into the point. So taking this shot with a bolo, you know, somewhere to the face area, neck area, or even to the hand is going to result in some pain, right? Possibly some disarmament. And of course, on that number 4, when we whip it over, we're striking again with that back edge or right where it meets up with the point. So we have our 1, 2, 3, and 4 Abanicos. 1, 2, 3, and 4 Abanicos. You have to be careful even when you're training with Bob because I had my my kid that was training out here with me a while ago and he hit 1 Abanico and split Bob open. So it's pretty nasty. So even this you know, this vinyl, this rubber, which is more dense than our skin, you know, if you're splitting this open with one shot with an Abanico, it's gonna be very, very devastating to the body. So traditionally, that's what's going on when we are striking the Abanicos and the Watiks with the bolo. So when we transfer this over to the stick, we're still hitting with this last inch or so. And we're hitting right there where that little edge is at the tip of the stick. That's where we're trying to put all that velocity and force into. So this last inch, you'll be surprised that when you hit someone with that, again, to the face area, splits the brows open, lots of blood going into the eyes. Now, I don't want to get too graphic, but that is the reality of it. Now, of course, with the impact weapon, it's going to take more application to be effective as equal to that bolo, obviously. One shot with the bolo is going to change things drastically. So with this stick, because we're moving to an impact weapon, you know, it may not be a one shot done. You might, you know, have to strike multiple strikes. And if you're hitting something like the body, right, the body can take a lot of punishment. And this is where we're using the Abanicos on the impact weapon to kind of put some damage on the opponent so we can get back to those full power strikes. Now to the back of the hand, sometimes this works to cause enough pain for the opponent or sometimes the training partner to drop the stick. Obviously, if you have hockey gloves on, if you're training with, you know, gloves and form guards and all that, well, then there's armor there, there's protection there, so it's not going to seem like it's super effective. Here at Collie Center, we obviously spar with all the gear on, but we also spar without the gear. And when you take a shot like that to the back of the hand, it makes you have to take a moment. And you can train this to the point where even with this rattan, you can start breaking the bones, the small little bones on the back of the hand, and breaking fingers and things like that. Even with, you know, these Watiks, especially this number 3 Watik right here. Lots of power coming down on that vertical. So the Abanicos, the Watiks, these are great tactics, great techniques to train. So just work on this rotation here. Make sure that you're rotating your hips and shoulders and that you're getting the elbow to move outside and inside. So you want this rotation with the shoulder, you want the rotation in the forearm and in the wrist, and you want to start developing it where you have a little snap on the wrists. So a quick little drill here is you can go into our 1, 2, 3, and 4 Abanicos. 1, 2, 3, and 4 right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if you have a heavy bag, a bob, a tire, just start nice and slow, and you can start working some impact training on your heavy bag, bob, tire, anything like that. Little word of caution when you're just starting off working the Abanicos is that it's going to be a lot of strenuous activity for your wrists. So it takes time to condition your wrists. So when you're just starting this tactic out, I would recommend training it maybe twice a week. Because if you're working pretty vigorously, you might start getting a little bit of a strain pains right here. It's just part of the process to develop that dynamic flexibility and the strength in the wrist, especially as you're making impact. So just a little word for caution there. I do have a complete wrist mobility guide here on the Kali Center channel with some great drills that will help condition your wrists for flexibility and strength. I'll leave a link to that video at the end of this video. I'll pop it up here on the top, and I'll also put that down in the description below. Make sure you check out that video. It's a good idea to work those wrist mobility exercises as you are training and developing your Abanicos and your Watiks. Well, that's a little bit of a deep dive into one of my favorite moves of Kali, of Filipino martial arts, which is the Abanico or the Watik. And I just want to break down an understanding of what is actually going on, with the mechanics of the body when we're training the Abanicos, and then how are we actually making contact with these, and what would that effect be when that contact is made. If you appreciate this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, share this video with any of your Kali friends, and pass on the knowledge of the Abanicos, the Watiks. And if you're new to Kali Center, or maybe you've been watching for a while but you haven't done it yet, tap that subscribe button right now, my friend. It really helps out the channel when you guys are doing those things, all the subscribing and likes and comments. I really appreciate it, and it supports Kali, just more than you'll ever know. So very, very grateful for those of you who are supporting Kali Center. If you want to explore further in the art of Kali, maybe even get more of a tailored training that will fit exactly what your goals are, then you might want to check out our online school over at kalicenter.com. I got the link down in the description below. Check out becoming a member. Give it a try for a couple of months. Our Apex, which is our top tier, you can also get access to our one-on-one video coaching calls where we can tailor training specific to what your goals are in your Kali journey. All right, get out there, go train some Abanicos, go hit some training stuff, some bobs and heavy bags and tires, and I'll catch you back here next time.